Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Take Apart Something Awesome. We started this series where we take things apart, and so today we are going to be taking apart this Vizio TV, big flat screen TV that my son broke by throwing. He got angry and threw something and cracked the screen. And so we thought, what a great opportunity this is, rather than get super upset, which we kind of did. But this is a great opportunity to break it apart or take it apart and see what's on the inside. I can't wait to get started. Just in case you're wondering, taking things apart is one of the funnest activities that kids will ever do. They love it. It's a great learning opportunity for them, and I highly encourage it. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of tilt my screen down, and so you can see all the action and everything that's going into taking apart this television. Well, before that, let me show you a few of the tools that I like to use. In case you haven't seen some of my previous take apart episodes, let me show you what I have. I have this Stanley. It's just kind of it has all sorts of little tools in it that is really useful for taking stuff apart. I always have this with me. This is my primary thing to take things apart. Next, I have a really small screwdriver. This really small screwdriver is perfect for electronics because in the electronics, they have many of the little parts and pieces are fastened together or fastened to the motherboard or the electrical board by using little tiny Phillips screwdrivers or Phillips screws. So we have a little screwdriver. Then I like a pair of needle nose pliers. Those are kind of my three biggest things, but a couple other things that are nice to have: wire cutters. I love having wire cutters because I'm constantly taking things apart. And I want the pieces on the inside because then I repurpose them and use them and make cool stuff with them. So there you have it. So there's those. And I have this little screwdriver set. It's hard to see, but the little bit comes out the top. But these are the star bits. They're shaped in a star. Sometimes you'll find electronics that have the little specialized screws in them. So that's what these are for. This is for. Okay, so let's get started and see what we find. Oh, and one more thing. I almost forgot. I have a special flathead screwdriver that I don't know if you can see it very well. Probably not. I took an old screwdriver I found at a thrift store. It doesn't want to focus on it. And I sharpened the end, not so that it's sharp like a blade to cut yourself, but you want it fairly sharp because when you're working with televisions and electronics and things, lots of times you have to slip something in there and pry it open. And so that's what this is for. Okay, let's get started. And it has this sweet, awesome handle. So I am going to begin. Oh, I'm going to tilt this down so that you can get a better look at what I'm doing here. I know it's not the best situation. And typically I'll have a bowl on the side that I will put all my hardware in. So, and these little screws, they just pop right off. The challenging part is going to be figuring out how to get into it once the screws are off, because usually I have to do some prying and some problem solving to get on the inside of one of these electronics. And in some cases you just have to use a hammer. Although I generally try to get kids, when I teach kids how to take things apart, I generally try to avoid the use of hammers and anything like that. Because, well, one, it breaks things. Two, it's a safety issue. And I like them to problem solve, to get into things and to try to understand how things are put together. So that's generally what I like to do. Okay. Looks like I've about got all the screws. So once you've got all the screws, the mystery to me with this television is trying to figure out to get into the inside. Is I've only got screws on the bottom half. There are no screws on the top half up here. So I'm going to have to figure out why. I'm assuming that I can just pop this back right off. So I've got my nice sharpened screwdriver, and I am just working around it, and it seems to be popping open without much trouble. I'll move that up. I'm going to start popping this side. And one more thing I would suggest when doing this is to have a nice, I'll put a towel down underneath. That'll help protect your tables and, yep. Okay. So I just have to work my way around, work my way all the way around this television, popping this. Oh, it's so close to just coming apart. Okay. And voila. Now, so I'm going to lift this thing up. I've got one more. I got a little wire. Okay, there we go. Now I can completely remove the back. Okay. Let's reposition this now. So now I'm finding quite a few little things going on. Here at the very back, I'm finding some speakers. So I'm going to take off this tape because I want to salvage these speakers. So I am going to disconnect them and pop them off of the unit, of the television. Okay, so there's this speaker. And the second speaker. Voila, 2 speakers. Ooh, and they've got pretty strong magnets attached to them. Pretty cool. Okay, next, let's see. Well, I'm going to take this off, and then I am going to take off this. Let's see, where'd my screwdriver go? Okay. Taking off the back now, taking off the motherboard, which is actually quite a bit smaller than I was expecting. Seems like with electronics these days, they're getting smaller and smaller. Now, some of the things that you can do with your kids after you've taken something apart like this is doing a scavenger hunt. And I'm working on a scavenger hunt right now, like a sheet that I will post in this group as soon as I get that completed. But what it does is it has a lot of the different electrical components. There we go. And I'm going to unconnect this. And there you have it. There's the motherboard. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm in the process of making a take apart scavenger hunt, and I will post that within this group here shortly. But what you do is the kids will take things apart and they will look for the different components. So like we've got capacitors, we've got resistors, we've got diodes and all sorts of things going on. Even HDMI and USB ports, all sorts of different electrical components. And it's really cool. The kids really enjoy identifying the different pieces and figuring out what they do. So this is a really cool activity. The take apart scavenger hunt. Like I said, that will be available within the group here coming up shortly. Okay, so now what I really want to do is I want to take a look at the screen. So I am not sure. I want to take a look at what the inside of a screen looks like. So I'm going to begin taking apart all these different screws that I see. And see if we can't get a look at the screen. When in the past, every year we run or we're help out with this event called the Steam Extravaganza. And it's a big fair kind of a thing. Well, obviously we couldn't do it this year because of the obvious restrictions. But typically we have a whole bunch of families, hundreds of kids come, and one of the stations is a take-apart station where we just go get a whole bunch of VCRs and televisions and washing machines and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's a really fun activity. And one of the most popular booths is always the take-apart booth. So you can, so you know that kids just really eat this stuff up. They love looking on the inside of stuff. Maybe next time we'll look on the inside of a phone. I've never taken apart a phone before, so that ought to be interesting. Okay. Oh, I missed a couple of screws to get this piece off. Oh, one more. Uno más. And there we have it. Oh, I found a little spider friend. And something I was not expecting at all. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I need to get this. I'm going to kind of move this piece out of the way. I'm going to move the speakers out of the way so that I can show you that we took apart this, we pulled this off of the television, and now I found an additional motherboard that I believe controls the actual screen part of it. That other one must just be for general function and for all the HDMI cables and everything that come in. This one looks quite a bit more complicated, and I'm trying to figure out, let's see if I can get that off to where you can see it. Unplug all the different inputs. Let's see. I might have to. Nope, I can't hold it up. It's not going to do anything. Okay. Well, what I might have to do. Oh, they do pop out. not very gracefully. All right, little spider. Let's not get in my way. And there you have it. There's actually two of these. You see this? Little tiny, this has all sorts of little tiny parts to it. This little circuit board, which probably controls the screen. I'm assuming so because it was connected to the screen. Pretty cool. I've never, didn't see that coming. There's a second one that doesn't want to come off, but that's okay. I think I'm going to move on to exposing the screen, and that's going to take a minute because it's got all sorts of different screws on it. So this looks like it has about a dozen screws. Another fun activity that you can do with taking things apart is you can make a junkyard robot. So you'll take all these different pieces and components, and then the kids will have they'll have a really fun time getting to building a robot using all those leftover pieces. In fact, just while I'm here, here's an example. This is a junkyard robot that I made out of an old VCR. Pretty sweet, huh? All I used was a hot glue gun. Yep, there are a lot of screws to get into the screen, but that's okay because I'm imagining just something so awesome. Getting close. Only got about 4 more screws before we see the inside. One of the screws fell down into my shoe. Okay, so this is, I've got about 3 more screws to get to the inside of the screen. But we are taking apart a Vizio flat screen TV just to see what's on the inside. This is a really popular activity for kids, taking things apart. So if you're looking for activities for your kids to do, go to the thrift store, get an old VCR, get them a set of screwdrivers, and let them go to town. I promise you it is one of the funnest activities they will ever do. I am amazed at how much fun it is just to take something apart like this. Okay, here we go. Now for the big reveal. Maybe. I undid all these screws. Oh, got to do more snapping off. Off there, and we'll get to see what the screen looks like. Here it comes. I got stuff now popping off, flying all over the place. Okay, here it is. Oh, one's caught still somewhere. Oh, it looks like a couple of re-engaged. There we go. Okay. So now it's time to be careful because we broke this thing. My kids broke it. My son broke it with a ball. I'm going to move that wire. Okay. So let's first look at this part. This part's pretty cool. Looks like it's got a bunch of diodes, LEDs, light emitting diodes that are spaced out all across the back of this screen. And then, there's a big, well, this thing looks intact. Boy, this is some cool stuff. I could use this thing. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. That's I'm assuming what that does is it takes away the shadows. It's acting as a light box, that big white thing. Okay. Now this white. Then we've got this reflective material. That's pretty cool. And let's see, we've got the glass underneath. I'm going to move this, and you can see, and this is more than just glass. There's little pieces of glass all over the place. But you can see down in this corner, this is the impact where it hit, and it's kind of spidered and broken all over the place. I have to be really careful because there's glass all over right now. Anyway, so if you're taking apart, let me lift this up now. If you're taking apart a television, I would be pretty careful about the glass portion of it if it's broken at all. Because you don't want your kids to get hurt or you to get hurt if you're doing it. I mean, after all, even adults can do this. It's a fun activity to take stuff apart. So thank you for watching. I would love to see you take something apart. Take it apart, post pictures, and I just really want to see you and your kids having a fun time. So that's my goal. That's why I'm here. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.